Mrs. Kira's.
Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of Scoots Was Bored. This is Kira. She's blind. And the ginger cat is her friend, Scoots, who's also blind. The other black cat is Hair Bear, she can see. And I've just been over on the mountain with Scoots, because he was bored. And he's still bored. He's still looking for some more fun. Now he's going to make his way into the back garden. Who remembers the disagreement between Kira and Hair Bear? Well, that's still going on. She hasn't forgiven, forgotten or forgiven. This is William, senior blind cat. And there's Tiny Tim. Tim can see. Now Kira's about to have a collision with a pole. It doesn't happen very often. It does happen, but not very often. Now she'll remember that. This black cat is Momo, and Momo is blind. And Scoots is just about to go into the back garden. Here comes Kira. The blind cats have no problems with stairs or steps. That they've worked out the height, the depth, distance, whatever, and they're up and down them during the day.
Tigger.
I had a question, I think it was Friday. How did it all start? It was by accident. There was a post on Facebook, photos. 2 kittens were in a wooden box with a metal grill on it. They were both looking out the grill, and one had its paw. They were both brothers and both blind. But you know, this was the beginning of 2019. Even after all the years of having rescues here in Cyprus, I'd never even seen a blind cat before. I'd never even given it a thought. But these 2 were both blood brothers, both blind, both needed help. And something inside of me said, you can do this, you can help. Some calls were made because they were in Nicosia, and the pair of them came to me. I had no idea of what I was doing. I had no idea what to do. This is Mabel. She's blind. I'd been out, got beds for them, blankets, because it was winter time, it was very cold, and as it turned out, they didn't use them. I've been on to Google to find out anything about looking after blind cats, and I came away depressed,
Scoots, no.
and sad, because I couldn't figure out how I was going to give these 2 a life. Everything was negative. Don't let your blind cats climb up onto any surfaces because they could fall off. Don't pick your blind cats up, because if you carry them somewhere and put them down, they could get lost.
Harry!
Don't let the blind cats run around. They could bash into walls or furniture and get hurt. Definitely don't let them go outside. Don't let them mix with other cats. It was so bad that I called it the negative narrative. But when the first two came home, they had their beds. I put them into my bedroom because I had to do 2 weeks of quarantine. So they had their beds in there, their blankets, a litter tray, and I just went off to get them some food. When I walked back in the bedroom, I had the shock of my life. The pair of them were up on my bed. I panicked, and it was at that moment that one of them decided he needed to use the litter tray, and got to the edge of the bed.
Hello, Harry.
Swung itself around so the body was facing the bed, and used its front paws and claws to lower itself down the duvet. I just thought, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Onto the floor, trotted over to the litter tray, got in, did its business, got out, came back over to the bed, climbed up and carried on playing with his brother. So that night, when it was time for me to go to bed, I got them off the bed, my bed. I put them into their own beds, covered them over with their blankets. When I woke up the next morning, the pair of them were fast asleep under my duvet. One of the brothers, William, he had his head on my pillow, and to this day that's how he sleeps. During the winter, he comes in, gets into bed, and he has his head on the pillow. And I was starting to see that what I'd been reading online wasn't tying in with what I was seeing day to day. And one morning I'd been working in the garden, and I'd left the back door open by mistake, just taking a break, and two heads appeared, and they made their way out slowly onto the terrace, sniffing the air, sniffing the ground, everything. They went across the terrace, turned right and into the garden, and just inside the garden there's a rock, natural rock, and one end of it is tapered down to the ground, and it was covered with irises at that point. And they got to this rock and they sniffed it. Then they made their way around to the back. They climbed onto it, climbed all the way up to the top. It's not high, and it was a cold day, but the sun was out. And they smiled. They had a wonderful look on their faces, and they played. And played. They ran down this thing, they ran round it, climbed up it. The pair of them were still only kittens at this point, and when they got tired they found a spot half in the shade, half in the sun, and they went to sleep. And I knew then what I'd seen that morning, that there was a story to tell. There was something that what I was reading, it wasn't right. So I started recording their day-to-day lives. And then much later, I started the channel. I still got William. I lost Harry about a year or so later. I nearly lost William. A viper, a blunt-nosed viper, got into the house one summer's evening, and when I was out, and he got bitten. But I managed to get him to an emergency vet on the other side of town, and they saved his life. Then a while later, because people knew, vets knew, rescuers knew that I had blind cats, I started to get requests for help. Can you look after this? Can you take one? And more started to come. And by the time 2022 came along, I had 10 of them. But 2 kittens came to me, and they were too young to be tested, but both of them had the FIP virus. And within a couple of weeks they were dead, and within a couple of months, I had a lot of cats at that point. Nearly all of my cats were dead. So it's been ups and downs over the past 6.5 years. Hope you've all enjoyed part 2, everyone. Me talking. There is a part 3. We're not quite done yet, so we will all see you all again a bit later for the last part.